only do it by being with the people, of the people, and frankly, with the kind of encounters that the town hall meeting is all about. I'm very grateful you're here, and again, I want to ask for your sympathy for the families of the state of Arizona, because as you know, Barry Goldwater from Arizona ran for President of the United States. Morris Udall from Arizona ran for President of the United States. Bruce Babbitt from Arizona ran for President of the United States. And you know, Arizona still may be the only state in America where mothers don't tell their children that someday they can grow up and be I ask for sympathy. I'm here, as you know, because I think Kelly is a great way to continue the outstanding representation in the United States Senate of the state of New Hampshire. She is a great person. She believes in law and order. She understands fiscal responsibility. And frankly, we need someone like her to follow up in the footsteps of a great United States Senator, Judd Gregg. So. In her behalf, and I intend to return as often as possible and try to get a lot of our old friends to really give a serious look at what I think is a great candidate and will be an outstanding member of the United States Senate. And I would point out to those, my Republican friends, we need broad representation in the Senate. We need it from all over the country. And could I again say hi to Governor Walter Peterson, who has heard my story 1,000 times about the 2 inmates in the chow line in the state prison, and one turned to the other and said, "The food was a lot better in here when you were governor." Walter's grown tired of hearing that old joke. But I really want to just take a couple of minutes on the issues of the day, and then Kelly and I both would like to respond to your questions or comments. And again, so many old friends here that I'd like to say hello to, and maybe afterwards we could all shake hands again. By the way, the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce has asked me to announce the temperature is 75 degrees. I mentioned that to you. As you know, I'd just like to mention a couple issues with you. Kelly pointed out, look, my friends, this fiscal irresponsibility is beyond anything most of us ever imagined would happen. Last year, for the year 2009, $1.4 trillion deficit. The year now projection in 2010, $1.5 trillion deficit. The numbers are so staggering that it's hard for us to get our minds wrapped around these kinds of numbers. And what we've done is committed generational theft. We have committed generational theft on our children and our grandchildren. By the way, the latest line is, please, I hope no one tells President Obama what comes after $1 trillion. But the fact is that what we are in danger of now is betraying our children and our grandchildren. The greatness of America is that every generation is handed off to the next generation of Americans a better nation than the one we inherited. I can't look you in the eye and tell you that's the case with a $12 trillion debt, with Social Security being unfunded liability of trillions, of Medicare being unfunded. 7 years, Medicare is going to be broke. That doesn't mean they're going to stop paying, but what it does mean that Medicare payments are going to start coming out of general revenues. And we're going to lay another debt on young Americans. It's unconscionable. And now, this latest proposal, which they're trying to drive through within the next week or so, is going to put an additional $2.5 trillion debt on the American people. And it's full of budget gimmicks, and it's full of assumptions that simply cannot be realized. And let me just tell you one. You know, today, if you go out and buy a car, you can drive it around for a year and not have to make a payment for a year if you get a good deal, right? You know what this bill does? You pay taxes and benefits are cut for 4 years before a single good part of it kicks in. That's Bernie Madoff accounting, my friends. That's not fair to the American people. Why are they doing that? because they want the budgetary aspect of it to look good. You'll hear a lot about the CBO. The CBO is good, but they only act on the assumptions that the Democrats give them. And these assumptions are false. Let me just mention one more to you. The thing called the doc fix. As you know, doctors are reimbursed for treatment of Medicare patients, okay? Years ago, we enacted legislation that said we would cut those payments to doctors. Now, they are assuming that we're going to cut $371 billion out of Medicare payments to doctors in the next 10 years. Can you believe that? You know what would happen, of course? Doctors would stop treating Medicare patients. More and more physicians are now. The Mayo Clinic just announced that they're not paying they're not going to treat any more Medicare patients. This is a train wreck. And why the President of the United States and the Democrats didn't focus on what the people of New Hampshire care about, and the people of Arizona care about, and the people of this country care about, which is jobs and jobs and jobs and the economy. And that's why we still have 9.7% unemployment in this country. It's time we got around to addressing the issues and the small business people that need our help so badly. So they may be able to jam it through, but I'll stop by reminding you of this. In history, we have never enacted a major reform without broad bipartisan support, whether it be Social Security, whether it be Medicare, whether it be the Civil Rights Act. Every single major reform has been done with broad bipartisan support. If they ran this through on a party line basis using parliamentary procedures, the 51 vote. You know, we used to think that reconciliation was the thing we used when spouses have difficulties, but now it's given all new meaning to that issue. So I think that the next week and to 2 weeks, I think your elected representatives need to be heard from the people of New Hampshire, from the people of Arizona, and from the people all over this country. And we want to say, stop, start over. We know how to reduce costs of health care and preserve the quality, and it isn't this 2,733-page monstrosity. Finally, there's a lot of other issues that I would like us to deal with, but I just want to say again, because our veterans are here, that I'm happy to tell you that the elections in Iraq went okay. Look, democracy is a hard thing, but it was a contested election, and there's no other country in the Middle East besides Israel where there's a contested election. And the most importantly than that, now for 3 months, there has not been a single American service member killed or wounded in Iraq. Afghanistan is going to be hard, it's going to be tough, there's all kinds of problems, and I'd be glad to discuss them with you, but I can also assure you that we can and are succeeding, thanks to General McChrystal and the brave young men and women who are serving. And the people of Afghanistan do not want the Taliban back. They do not want it back. And we can succeed and prevent Afghanistan from becoming a base again for attacks against the United States and our allies. And I'd like to just, if you'll give me, indulge me for 1 second, Tom Gibson is here. Tom, where are you? Tom, who lost a son in Iraq and traveled with us and drove our bus throughout the campaign. Tom, it's wonderful to see you, and thank you for being here, my friend. Story, at a town hall meeting, a woman stood up in 2007 and said, I just lost my son in Iraq, Matthew Stanley, and I want you to tell me how that you will promise me that you'll do everything in your power to make sure that his sacrifice was not in vain. That was Lynn and Jim Savage, who are here today, I believe. Are you here, Jim and Lynn? Thank you. Lynn asked me if I would wear a bracelet with Matthew's name on it, and I have never taken that bracelet off since. I never will. Thank you. Thank you all for